It's been queried before, I know, but how did Mario go from plumber/white knight to a fully fledged GP in the space of 1 year? I'd love to know what back alley med school he attended, because they obviously didn't teach him much. The premise of this game is to eliminate a predetermined layout of coloured viruses using like-coloured pills, or segments thereof. These fall from the ceiling and are in 2 halves. Each half is one of 3 colours that match the viruses, leading to 6 possible configurations of capsule. The aim is to align, horizontally or vertically, 4 of the same colour, with some of those being the virus. These will then disappear. Once all the viruses are off the screen, the level's over. The game gets faster and more difficult as you go on, and the biggest scores come from chains of clearances, but there's little else to say about it. So you could say this is a Tetris ripoff, which it kind of is, but it lies closer to a game like Columns, albeit an inferior version of that. Something noteworthy about Dr. Mario is that it marks the first time that a video game was simultaneously released on more than one platform. There had been ports previously, of course, but the NES and Game Boy versions of Dr. Mario both surfaced on the same day. I would suggest, however, that the NES version is the one to go for. The lack of colours makes using your peripheral vision very difficult, a very useful skill to have in games like these, but more than that, the shading they did use on the Game Boy version suffers from a glaring mistake, and an uncharacteristic one by Nintendo's high standards. In the NES game, the viruses are blue, yellow and red. Obviously that's not possible here, so they used black, white and one of the 2 shades of grey, right? Well, no, actually, for the in-between colour, they actually used light grey for the pills and dark grey for the virus. How this happened, I'll never know. It can't have been intentional, surely. And it's really noticeable when you play the game on a Super Game Boy or a Game Boy Color. Once you colorize the palette, the grey pill is a different colour entirely to the virus. You can train your eye to see past this, of course, but why should you have to? Something else I should mention that I'm not a fan of. You know in Mario Kart when you're in the lead, the game will seemingly victimize you by giving the good weapons to the guys in the rear? Well, a similar thing happens here. If you're doing well and clearing out a lot of mess, the game will actually throw you pieces that you can't use. This was a bad choice. The everlasting appeal of a game like Tetris is the complete reliability on your own skills and the random factor of the pieces that were next to fall. Putting a mechanic like this in the game nullifies both of these points, making for a game that's more frustrating than gripping. Hey, a lot of people love Dr. Mario, and who's to argue with them? People enjoy what they enjoy, but when you have Tetris, I'm not sure of the appeal of this one. People often note the excellent music as well, but I don't really hear it. It's good, but it's a little too truncated and staccato for my taste. The whole title just isn't for me. Dr. Mario is certainly not bad. I would go as far to say it's good, but you can definitely play much better titles. I've worked in healthcare, pharmacy specifically, in the past, and it was our obligation to call to task any doctor who simply threw pills at ailments and hoped that they got better. Mario is a terrible doctor. I'm still waiting on the true sequel, the one where Dr. Mario's irresponsible prescribing habits have inevitably led to deadly strains of antibiotic-resistant superbacteria that mutated and kidnapped Princess Peach. Damn it all, Mario, did you take no advice from the World Health Organization at all? An apple a day and bed rest and all that?